Will Nene Leakes reunite with the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Plus, SZA makes her daytime television debut, and President Obama was caught being too friendly with convicted President Trump. While Hoda Kotb might be saying farewell, reporters like Gayle King, they're extending their contracts. Hey, critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. We are live on this Saturday, January the 11th, 2025. Hey, critics, it's time to chronicle. Now, before I go too deep, I do want to send love to all the folks out in California battling the outcome of the devastating fires there in the Los Angeles area, Southern California there, and it's left a lot of people displaced, a lot of everyday people lost everything. A lot of famous Hollywood folks have also had homes that have been destroyed, including people like Paris Hilton and Tina Knowles and also Janae Aiko, and so many more that I'm actually leaving off the list. Many restaurants, though, do seem to be offering free meals. It also seems to be that there's some shelters there that's open. Many of the hotels, it seems like, have filled up, understandably. People like Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, you got also people like Jennifer Garner. They're all opening up their homes to others who are in need of shelter, but also out there on the ground doing some work there, as well. Sending love to all of those people, as well as to Atlanta, who seems like they're going through a snowstorm right now in a very unexpected way. Many areas, though, are experiencing winter weather, including, though, like places like Texas, especially like there in the Dallas area. It's just a way to kind of start 2025, but definitely sending love in particular there to California. More to come on tomorrow's episode regarding the California fires. Up first, though, getting into the stories here, let's talk Black on the Cover, where we highlight Black excellence gracing the cover of today's hottest magazines. On Esquire, we have Denzel Washington. He's on the winter 2024 to 25 issue. And on the cover of Variety, we have The Weeknd. I'll just keep you satisfied through the weekend. I know that's SZA, but it just made me think of that song when I thought about The Weeknd. He's on the January 8th issue. I also saw something recently about The Weeknd wanting to change his name to his full name, which I didn't write down here, but I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, that's what I think I saw on one of the blogs, and forgive me for not being able to reference the blog, but that's where I saw that. It wasn't because I seen it or know that for myself. Most magazines mentioned today is sourced through Hoopla and Libby, both free streaming platforms made possible through our local library. Here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced through our public library. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today. Hey, critics, you know what time it is. It's time for critical news you can use. Up first, let's talk a little bit about Nicki Minaj. On the previous episode that I had last weekend, I actually talked about how Nicki could have faced some criminal charges. Well, this update actually talks about the alleged happening where Nicki was actually accused of slapping her former manager, Brandon Garrett. However, that will not be the case, according to Vibe.com. The warrant that was requested was denied by the prosecutor's office due to insufficient evidence. However, prosecutors did say that if a further investigation is requested, then they will revisit the case, but that's only if stronger evidence surfaces. Now, the now ex-manager claims that he was so shaken that he actually locked himself in a bathroom for hours after the confrontation and was stranded in Detroit, while also being told that he would no longer be working for Minaj following the incident. Nicki's attorney by the name of Judd Bernstein has denied the allegations and says, at this time, no complaint has been served upon Mrs. Petty, and therefore we are unaware of the specific allegations. Garrett is suing Minaj for assault, battery, and national infliction of emotional distress and unexpected damages, unspecified damages. Forgive me, that's a correction. The case remains open pending further investigation. So at this time, Nikki's lawyer has spoke out. See, that was you. You get the lawyer to go ahead and speak out. Don't even worry, I ain't got nothing to say, child. Let's just go ahead and speak out. But you know what? I don't know why I just thought about this, but Nikki, when you coming back with Queen Radio? I'm ready to hear more. At first, I'm not gonna lie. When Nikki came out with the Queen Radio, I don't know why, but I was like, no, I didn't. I don't know why, but I'm like, I didn't want her to do that. I didn't. uh, but now that she's already kind of opened up Pandora's box, I say, Nikki, get back on it. We want to hear more of that Queen Radio. Okay. And speaking of queens, let's talk about the original Real Housewife of Atlanta veteran Nene Leakes. She was caught out and about, y'all, by TMZ, and it sounds like she would be willing to return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I know the fans are here for it, especially after the scramble this past season. And then, of course, Kenya Moore leaking that inappropriate photo of one of the castmates and causing that debauchery. If you want to know more about that, be sure to check out the interview that actually Kenya did on the Tamron Hall show. Um, anyway, going back to Nene, I honestly don't think any of the fans of the show wanted Nene to leave, whether you liked her or not, right? I believe in the beginning of the seasons, you Nene was definitely a more than a fan favorite by way more than a few people in terms of like everything that was going on in her life. And then she was a fan favorite because we liked the snapbacks, we loved the drama, we loved all of the things. But there was a point in time where I just felt like Nene had kind of outgrown the show, if you ask me. And even in the outgrowing of the show, her needing to maybe take a couple of seasons off to grow in maybe some other areas, doing her own thing when it came to Hollywood, being out there and acting. And I definitely could be wrong when it comes to this because you never know a person's true feelings unless they're the ones that say it and it comes out of their mouth. And even nowadays, Chuck, can we really believe every single thing? Okay, we're not gonna go into that either. That has nothing to do with Nene, y'all. That was just kind of a little side note, okay? But Nene would be an excellent choice, I think, for the Housewives cast if they can make that happen. And while we at it, because I know y'all didn't ask me, and this is really gone show what I really want, but I don't care. I'm just gonna say it anyway. My vote for the cast of the Real Housewives of Atlanta would be Nene Leakes, Cynthia Bailey, Candy Burris, of course, Portia Williams, Phaedra Parks. Yes, Phaedra, because they're gonna bring her back anyway from over there at the medicine side and bring her back on the Real Housewives. Isn't she already though? Isn't she on both? I can't remember. This ain't necessarily my territory, y'all, but since I saw Nene say this on TMZ, I was like, wait a minute, gotta go ahead and say it because she said it out of mouth herself, right? And then also I would say, even though Kenya made a mistake when it comes to that photo and that picture, I would even say Kenya Moore. Now I do say that Sheree should show up on the show as a friend, continue on all of those sort of friend um what do you call those little cameos that come on the show. Same thing with Marlo still being a good cameo to come on the show. I also saw something where Marlo said that she wasn't really happy when she got her peach because of the timing of it, right? Because everything was kind of, all over the place. This ain't the first time, I guess, that the Real Housewives of Atlanta have kind of been all over the place when it comes to the casting. Some people out there say that the network is doing this to the Housewives of Atlanta cast on purpose. And not just in the way of like the casting, but also in the way of when they are photographed on the main picture for that particular season, what they're wearing, where they're located. Like there's always a comparison to like the housewives overall of like, okay, what are the Real Housewives of New Jersey doing? What are the Real Housewives of New York doing? Right? What is the network doing for those particular franchises? And I want the network to know, like they listen to me, right? Bravo. I know, hear it and hear it clear. Okay. When the quality ain't the same with the Housewives of Atlanta and you got the other franchises looking like, okay, they good. Okay, Orange County is good. Okay, Beverly Hills is good. Do y'all still do Orange County anymore? Anyway, when all the other franchises look like y'all got them together, when y'all don't do the same for Atlanta, we notice. Okay. They notice. The fans notice. And when the fans notice, of course, then I'm put on alert and I notice as well. I will say at the beginning of the Housewives, I definitely watch consistently. So that's one of the reasons why I don't report on the Housewives as often unless it actually comes out somewhere in the tabloid news particularly. So shout out to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I love to have that show on repeat when I'm when I'm doing something like editing my videos or anything like that. I listen to it in my headphones, and then also I also watch sometimes the um other shows as well. I'll just say it like that. So let me just move forward before I be done messed up the whole show, y'all, doing and talking about stuff at the side of my neck that I literally did not write down. And I don't know why I do that. I literally have a whole script, and then I just basically I go off script there. So I think the last person I said was Kenya Moore. And then I told you about the friends basically kind of still showing up on the show. And I know y'all definitely probably might not agree with half the stuff that I'm about to say, but I would also be interested in a show, well, I guess kind of like a revisit of the show with Kim and Croy called Don't Be Tardy for the Divorce, telling us basically about the end of their marriage. Because if they gonna continue, I wouldn't have said this if they wasn't calling the police all the time, because I feel like they might as well document it on the show. I'm just saying, listen, Kim ain't got no shame. If this woman can come on like national TV and say she has a big papa that's literally the husband of somebody else, this woman is she she ain't got no shame. She has no shame. So yes, I would love to see. Yes, I would love to see the blogs talking about Don't Be Tardy for the Divorce, telling us about the end of their marriage. I'm sorry, but not sorry. But back to the Housewives cast, okay? Well, I want to pretend like I want the ladies to basically come back with their organic life. I kind of want them to also be working on a project when they come back together. Like, for example, I don't know, maybe Cynthia doing like another modeling show for like the Bailey agency, while maybe launching a swimwear line or something like that. I want Candy to catch us up like with her sex toy line and her Broadway shows that she and her husband be producing together. I want Portia to actually talk about what happened with her and Simon. Not this whole like indirect he might have irritable bowel syndrome. Like, we don't want to hear that, girl. How are you still in that man's house? What's going on? How are you still bogarting that man's house while taking while taking us inside your wig line or something? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, launching something in addition to that. I also want Kenyon to show us more of her motherhood, just because she did release that book, I think, with her daughter Brooklyn, and they say that the streets are saying, Kenyon, that that's an AI book, like that you got AI to write the book. And I know they say you said that you did the illustrations for it, but you know what the streets saying now. I also want Kenya to do something with that hair salon that she said she got, but I'm not sure if you should take us behind the scenes because of what happened this last time. Okay, that's why you're not on the show anymore, but you're still collecting a check according to the interview that you did with Tamron Hall. And for Phaedra, catch us up on where the boys are and your co-parenting with Apollo, the funeral home industry. Don't worry about none of the cases you're working on unless it's like Young Thug or something. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, we don't really want to know. Like, keep that side to yourself, you know? Maybe even if you went also to speak to one of the girls that's on the Married to Medicine show while you were there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to kind of give us a little bit of a what's it like on the inside of that. Am I tripping, y'all? Maybe I'm just wishful thinking. I'm the worst at this, but I had to put my 2 cents in anyway, even though y'all didn't ask me. Well, if you don't know, Nene is also making her rounds, promoting her brand new podcast, and recently did an interview on Way Up with Angela Yee to talk about it. She is co-hosting the show with love and hip hop star Sierra Glam Shop, if I'm not mistaken. The show is going to be called Me and My Homegirl, and a lot of fans are very surprised by this odd sort of pairing. Some of Nene's loyal followers like ATLian, I think they believe that Nene can basically do her own thing, and sort of wonders why she don't, right? Why she don't just try to collect her own check and do it like kind of on her own. I don't know. I think that people feel like Nene's a big enough star that she can hold her own, but I don't know if Nene be thinking that she want to do stuff by herself. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know if Nene really want to do stuff by herself like that. And don't be mad at me for saying this, but maybe Nene don't see herself as the big star that we see her. And maybe I'm tripping, but yeah, I see Nene, and like, for example, in my opinion, I see Nene like as her own brand. And for me, that looks like her own YouTube channel, which she has, but hear me out. like where for like the most part you see her like day to day of her appearances behind the scenes getting ready like content, right? Who designer is for whatever the red carpet event that she may be going to, whatever movie she's a part of or in or TV show, because I know that she was recently on what is it, the Upshaws. But in a, like in a way where she has kind of like her own cameraman though, not her holding the camera, like never, like hardly ever her holding the camera. I'm not saying that she's too good to vlog, you know what I'm saying? But like I think that she's reached that level now where she can always, I got somebody else, I got my cameraman to do it. Like I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Am I tripping? I don't know. I also see her continuing on. Like, didn't she write a book before? Like, I think the name of the book. Give me a second because I don't want to mess this up. I think it was called like that. Never made the same mistake twice. And I think there's a little bit more to it, but I believe that that's the beginning. But basically, I could have seen Nene doing like a book on grief after the death of Greg back in 2021. And I will say this, and I know I'm not wrong about this. One of the things that made Nene even more likable was her relationship with Greg. Come on now, like it did. I think that made her even more likable. The bond that her and Greg had was just like, you know what I'm like, they was going through it and we was looking around like, what's going on? But it was still this loyalty between them in spite of the fact that they were going through it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I believe that she could have just sort of wrote a book about sort of that process and how she was going through the grieving process. I think that would have also allowed it to be like some form of therapy. She could have toured it maybe like 2023. I can see her just kind of working more with, also like with her foundation. Remember the one that she had, I believe it was for battered women. What episode, y'all, was that? Was that the first season? I think that Nene actually did a everybody put heels on and you like run for the cause kind of thing. I miss that. Y'all, I miss going to all of the like galas and like, arguing in the back when they was raising $20,000 for a good cause. Like, am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, I can see Nene coming out with a dress line to sell on QVC or on Amazon, where the superstars go on Amazon and talk about, as well as the influencers to talk about what they like. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, the first episode of the podcast premieres on January the 16th at 8 p.m. on all major platforms, according to the ladies. And by the ladies, I mean Nene Leakes, as well as the young lady that she's doing the podcast with. And her name, again, is Sierra Glam Shop. I had to go up on my script a little bit because I didn't write her name down as much. If you don't know, I think she's actually from Love and Hip Hop. I think I may have said that already. What I like is the fact of their age difference, right? So they're each from like a different generation. And I think that they can really relate to each other. In the interview that they were in together, they was actually talking a little bit about that. Sierra was saying how she could actually be on time more. And then he kind of called her out. It seemed like a little bit on it. But I feel like this is worth just kind of at least giving it a try, you know what I'm saying? But just to let you know, the rumor is that also, Nene, you could do your own thing. And hopefully, also the rumor, another one is that TGIF show, y'all know the show that was on Fox Soul. They say that was the original idea of Nene Leakes and it was stolen from her. That's what the streets say. That's what the streets say. And did Nene ever host a Wendy Williams show? I don't think she did, but I remember I thought that was going to be that was also a rumor at one point in time. Am I tripping? While Wendy Williams, though, is on the tip of my tongue, congratulations to Kevin Hunter Jr., which is the son of Wendy Williams. He actually graduated, y'all, from Florida International University this past fall. I believe it was sometime here in December last month. And I know y'all have already heard Wendy Williams was not gonna be missing her baby's graduation, so she was there supporting her son in Florida. Folks captured it, and I believe prior to the graduation, somebody had footage of her that was leaked online of them seeing her out and about at a restaurant. It looked a little sketchy to me at first, I'm not gonna lie, but after seeing, of course, Wendy show up at her son's graduation, I was like, oh my God, Wendy! I see her now. I can actually say something, because before, child, I was like, I gotta see Wendy say something first, right? When I saw the other clip of Wendy basically getting upset about getting in the wrong car, and then I'm saying, like, I guess it was her caretakers, they basically left her scooter abandoned. I knew Wendy was where she needed to be, okay? I think that Wendy basically is way more in her right mind than in her wrong one. I'll just be clear and say it just directly like that. While her guardian did deem her, I believe, is like incapacitated, and all of the things. I think that's just sort of the terminology. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is like they don't know what's going on in life, maybe. I'll have to look more into that and follow up with y'all regarding that. But basically, Wendy's in her right mind. She just moody, right? I'm paying y'all. You ain't doing what you're supposed to do. Go get my scooter. It's expensive. Got me getting in the wrong car. Heifers. So glad to see Wendy at least out and about being seen so that we can know and sort of kind of get our own uh judgment on where we believe Wendy is in terms of her mental health. And also, it sounds like I believe it was Charlemagne who said that Wendy called him on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And he felt like she would be ready for, I guess, maybe like a podcast tomorrow of some sort. I think if you edit the podcast, I don't see nothing wrong with Wendy having her own show. I didn't see her having nothing wrong with having her own show a little while ago. And I think that, to be honest with you, to keep her busy back in 2020 when everybody was, at home and the show just kind of took a different environment turn, right? Because Wendy was filming out of her own home instead. I think it would have been great to actually start the podcast then, just because it would have given her more to do and less time to get into things on her own. And by that, I do mean overdo it on whatever her drug of choice might have been, whether it was alcohol, the vape, whatever it was. I think that would have been a little bit better. But again, thoughts, and only thoughts, not anything that we cannot, do about it now. But it was good to see Wendy out and about. And to be honest, I like the fact that she was talking shit, okay? Because that'll really let you know what people are in their mental state, baby. Because she ain't that lost. Going right into talking about a little bit of tennis, y'all. If you don't know, Coco Gauff is one of the world's top 10 highest paid female athletes. And in fact, she is number one. I'm going to share with you a few of the athletes that made this top highest paid female athlete list. And six of them, just to let you know, are actually in the world of tennis. At number 9, Simone Biles. She comes in at a whopping $11.1 million. At number 6, Naomi Osaka comes in at, didn't write the number down, but she's also in the millions. And at number 1, Coco Gauff came in with 30.4 million. So congratulations on making the top 10 highest paid female athletes of, I think it was 2024 to be specific. I almost said 2025 and I was like, girl, when was that article? Okay. And speaking of athletes and Naomi Osaka, if you don't know, she's officially living single. Now I don't know if she's single, but I know that she looks single just because she's no longer with the father of her daughter, rapper Corday. And there, according to Naomi, is no bad blood between them, she says. And I quote, honestly, really glad our paths crossed because my daughter is my biggest blessing and I was able to grow a lot from our experiences together. Well, congratulations, Naomi, on being able to what it looks like of what is being shared, really part on more of in a way that is peaceful. I'll say it like that. It sounds peaceful. If you don't know, though, Naomi is actually scheduled to play in the Australian Open this weekend. I think actually tomorrow, either today or tomorrow, one of these days. Just one of these days. Just made that into what I wanted it to be. Let me keep moving forward. I want to talk a little bit about SZA, who is making her rounds, y'all, to celebrate her brand new album, Lana, which has hit number 1 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. Also, the album was released, if you don't know, back on December the 20th, and it features 38 songs, including 15 brand new tracks. She says that Lana has been in the works for over 2 years, and she released a short clip of actor Ben Stiller lip singing her new song called Drive. She also recently made her first talk show round appearance, going on Sherry Shepherd and a few more of those talk shows. She's talking about her acting debut in the name of it is called One of Them Days, alongside, of course, Keke Palmer. She will also be on the road joining Kendrick Lamar as part of their co-headlining Grand National Tour that will be kicking off on April the 19th in Minneapolis. It's also looking like maybe SZA will perform with Kendrick Lamar during the Super Bowl game. That's going to still take place there in New Orleans, even after that New Year's incident that happened. Sending love as well to New Orleans because of what happened there on New Year's there. So more to come on not only the Super Bowl, but also, again, what's going on sort of in America, y'all. It's crazy. 2025. Speaking of crazy, y'all, former President Jimmy Carter, he passed away in December 2024. And of course, all presidents, they're required to pay their respects. Is it a requirement, or is it an expectation? Probably more of an expectation. I'm not sure if it's a requirement. But everybody, they wasn't even paying attention to President Jimmy Carter passing away, y'all. They was paying more attention to the fact that it looked like basically President Obama was leaning in and talking to the unfortunate convicted felon president, Donald Trump. And folks was kind of like, what in the world are y'all doing? What y'all talking about? What was also noticeable was the fact that Michelle Obama was not in attendance at the funeral. I think Michelle was like, child, I got other things to do. No, I'm just playing. She probably was like, baby, I don't need to be there. That's the president's job. So you go ahead and you do that. Period. Period. But everybody want to know what y'all was talking about. Y'all look way too cozy to the public, okay? Now, I will say that YouTuber Bondi Blue pointed it out that if you watch the video, you'll see that President Obama is actually like opening up the book that he's looking at, and he's sort of trying to act like he's looking at the book, but then you see his mouth moving, but not really looking at the book, right? But he has it open as if he is, but that's just because he's having a conversation with Trump. So I said all that just to say, what was y'all talking about? And I know that Trump was asked sometime later on about what they was talking about, and he made it sound like, oh, we were just shooting the breeze and da 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 da. So, but people like, what was y'all saying? What was y'all saying? Okay. And if you had a chance to listen to the previous episode, you know that I attempted to also try to determine who's going to be the Golden Globe winners. If you listened, I hope you didn't listen to that part because I was absolutely wrong about every single prediction every single time. So I'm going to try maybe on the next award show to see if I can be a little bit more right. NAACP Image Awards, they have released their nominations. I'll talk about that on the next episode. But yeah, I can't believe it. No, I can't believe it. I can't believe that I was wrong every single time, right? Oh, y'all. Well, let's talk a little bit about Denzel Washington and go black on the inside of National Enquirer's January the 20th issue, where on page 4, it verifies what the blogs have already shared. Denzel Washington has been baptized and he's taking on the role of minister. The magazine also says that the 69-year-old, well, now 70-year-old Oscar winner was not only baptized, but given his ministry's license at Kelly Temple in Harlem. Well, congratulations, Minister Washington. Is that what we can call you now? I know I'm just kind of taking it too far. I still see Denzel as the actor that he is. And I'm just kind of looking forward to his continuation of giving us more. Even though I know you said that it's going to be intentional, it's still a lot of content that you're going to be giving us in the future. So congratulations again, Denzel, on being baptized. And Gayle King, she just celebrated the last day of Hoda Kotb at the Today Show on January the 10th. But when it comes to her own career, she took an unlikely route, says page 12 here in the National Enquirer. Gayle has reportedly bypassed a multi-year deal with CBS ahead of her contract's expiration in 2025 and instead opted for a short-term 1-year extension. Now, an insider says that it's all about the money because she refused to take a payout or a pay cut, excuse me. So the article goes on to say that Gayle knows her worth and isn't about to settle for less, even if it means walking away from CBS Mornings next year. Side note, this also buys Gayle time to determine her next step or begin the plans for maybe what she was already planning for the future anyway. Viewers, though, do believe that Gayle brings a lot of value to the show. In fact, it's believed that her star power brings all the viewers to the yard, and they're like, oh, I'm better than yours. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know what's going on with me today. Oh, congratulations, Gayle, on that 1-year contract. If this information in the National Enquirer is, in fact, true. We do know what is true, though. It looks like Chance the Rapper has settled his divorce with wife of 5 years, Kirsten Corley. She filed back in December 13th to be exact, according to reports. The couple announced their split 8 months prior to a joint statement, noting that they came to the decision amicably. The TMZ article adds that Kirsten reviewed her settlement agreement and accepts it as fair and equitable in terms of a resolution. And as of January the 9th, the two are waiting for the judge to sign off to make it basically official. They have two girls together, Kinsley, who is 9, and Marley, who is 5. And congratulations to Michael Jordan. He was able to, it looks like, sell his home finally there in Chicago. It was constructed in 1995 after years of being on the market. I believe it was on the market, they say, for 10 years. That's a long ass time. 10 years is a long ass time for something to be on the market. The real estate rundown is as follows, according to Us Weekly. The house is 56,000 square feet, donning 9 bedrooms, 19 bathrooms. Wow. The house is laid out with a chef's kitchen and living room with a built-in aquarium, trophy room, several sitting rooms, home theater, and game room featuring doors from the original Playboy Mansion in Chicago. His celeb neighbors include Jennifer Hudson, Jenny McCarthy, as well as Donnie Wahlberg. I don't know if they're neighbors right now, but I know that according to the magazine, they had real estate, right? So maybe they have dual citizenship somewhere. I don't know. The home went, or they live in more than one state. My bad, dual citizenship. I'm thinking of Ghana and all of that. Okay, go back. The home went for a deep discounted price in comparison to the original asking price of $29 million. It was sold, y'all, for only $9.5 million. Fun fact, the opulent estate was featured in rapper Travis Scott's music video for his 2020 song Franchise. So if you want to see the 23 gate opening, that's, I think, one of the, at the beginning of the video, I think you can actually see it there. And speaking of being out and about, Mariah Carey was seen with Anderson .Paak in Aspen. It looks like they reportedly enjoyed dinner together at the Dumani restaurant last month, and they left the restaurant holding hands and whispering in each other's ear. They seem very loved up. The streets say that Mariah, though, has been single since her romance with backup dancer Brian Tanaka, which ended back in 2023. Ain't Mariah the same one who actually sued a billionaire and won because he wasted her time? I've also seen that on the internet a little bit, right? But that was so funny. I did think they was gonna be together. I thought maybe they were a match, and one of the matches that maybe we didn't think they was, but maybe they were. I just thought we was wrong. Okay. If you missed the previous episode, no worries. I've linked it below, or you can always browse the channel for the latest show. As a reminder, critics, we are back to just linking up on the weekends again for at least the first quarter of the year. So expect a weekly weekend show either Saturday or Sunday, and a few scattered uploads as time allows. Thanks for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.